When we find a high-status Viking burial, we expect a specific cultural profile, an ornate wooden longship built to carry a feared raider into the afterlife. For decades, archaeologists found these honored remains in Scotland and assumed they were Scandinavian invaders. Based on the presence of Norse swords and ship burial rituals, their identity was rarely questioned. This graphic shows the result of recent DNA sequencing on those specific Scottish remains. The data shows 0% Scandinavian ancestry. These warriors belonged to the community, yet shared no blood with the Norse. This finding came from the largest Viking DNA project ever attempted, a 6-year study that mapped 442 ancient genomes across Europe and the North Atlantic. The project revealed a multi-ethnic mix, including Southern Europeans and the Sami people of the Arctic. It turns out that dark hair was actually more common among these populations than blonde hair. The data suggests that Viking describes a technology-driven occupational system. It was a role defined by skill and access to a ship, rather than a requirement of biological purity. If it was a diverse occupation and not a single ethnic group, why do modern DNA tests still claim to identify Viking ancestry? Modern tests are actually tracing the genetic footprint of a specific historical network, the biological trail left by individuals who joined these high-risk ventures and settled in new lands. Male line markers like the I1 and R1a Z284 haplogroups are a physical record of this movement. We track these DNA branches spreading from Scandinavia. Today, names like MacLeod and MacDonald cluster tightly in those exact same ancient landing zones. Viking DNA represents the success of that occupational system. It measures how effectively those diverse crews integrated into the global population. While the Viking network spread across the map, it also created a brutal internal environment for the people living within it. Excavations of 1,000-year-old Viking latrines in Denmark have provided a forensic window into this ancient reality. The contents of these pits show that ancient Norse populations suffered from massive, chronic infestations of intestinal parasites like whipworms. These worms release enzymes called proteases. As they migrate through the body, these proteases can damage and break down healthy tissue in the host's lungs and liver. To survive this, the immune system adapted. Over generations, these populations began producing a deviant form of a molecule called alpha-1 antitrypsin, or A1AT. This deviant A1AT molecule protected the body by binding to antibodies and neutralizing the worm-related proteases before they could cause organ damage. This mutation was a life-saving trade-off 1,000 years ago. In the modern world, it has become a genetic time bomb. Modern medicine has largely eradicated these parasites in developed nations. This leaves the deviant A1A1 gene with no biological target to fight. This creates a dangerous imbalance. On the left, A1A1 is busy fighting worms. On the right, the modern context, the body's own unchecked proteases are free to attack its own lung and liver tissue instead. We call this A1A1 deficiency. It is currently the only known genetic risk factor for chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, or COPD, and emphysema. Because humans live longer today, the damage from this ancient immune response has decades to accumulate in the lungs. Modern environmental factors make this worse. Smoking acts as a lethal catalyst for this specific genetic vulnerability, rapidly accelerating the destruction of the lungs. This historical hangover likely extends to other conditions. The Viking hypothesis for multiple sclerosis suggests that this expansion also dispersed mutant autoimmune genes across Northern Europe. Regions with the highest historical Viking impact, like Orkney and Shetland, now suffer from the highest MS rates in the world. The Viking network didn't just spread culture and trade, it permanently altered the biological vulnerabilities of millions of people. The evidence shows that Viking was a portable identity. Its crews reached from the shores of North America to the trade markets of Baghdad. The system expanded because it was able to absorb different cultures and genes, creating a network that spanned 3 continents. Carrying Viking DNA means you are a descendant of this unstoppable system. Its footprint can be found in the surnames of Scotland and the cellular mutations of modern hospitals. The Viking Age demonstrated that technology and culture can move faster than blood, rewriting our history and our health in the process.